Hello, everyone. Welcome to Clear Mind Meditation and Compassion Center's daily or weekly meditation on compassion. Oh, hello. Hi, Kristen. Can you hear me? Well, I hope that you can hear me. If not, can you hear me? You can just give a thumbs up on your screen or, oh, there you are. Yes, okay, you can hear me. Great. Awesome. Well, good to see you. Good to have you here. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Um, anyway, I was just saying just before you came on, welcome to this new compassion meditation that I'll be doing every Tuesday. And it's just going to be a little bit of basic meditation instruction and practice, and then a guided meditation on compassion and cultivating compassion in our hearts, compassion in our daily lives, and learning how to train ourselves to just open our hearts up a little bit and just be gradually more and more compassionate as we move through this journey of life. And so let's see. So I wanted to start with a little bit of a couple of Buddhist prayers where, and you can just kind of listen and follow along with that. And just the main thing to know is that this isn't in any attempt to convert anyone to Buddhism or to say that you have to be Buddhist to do this meditation, but it's just something that I start with to set the kind of the tone and the flavor for what's to come. So the first thing that we do is we take refuge. We take refuge in awakened mind, in the Buddhists, in the Buddhas, in the teachings of the Buddha, and then also in what's called the Sangha, or the ordained enlightened beings. And having realized that this life that we're living is full of a tremendous amount of suffering and confusion and difficulty, we are seeking a refuge from all of that, and some refuge in something that's reliable. And if you want to replace the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha with something else that works better for in your spiritual language, feel free to do so. But the prayer just goes something like this, very simple. We take refuge until we're enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By practicing generosity and the other far-reaching attitudes, may we attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. And we'll say that 2 more times. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By practicing generosity and the other far-reaching attitudes, may we attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By practicing generosity and the other far-reaching attitudes, may we attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. And as we sit down to do our initial meditation practice that I'll do a little bit of guided instruction on, we can just begin by setting a really positive motivation for our practice today for this short period, this 30 minutes here. And just let all of our other motivations kind of drop away. So all of our cares and concerns and worries, and we focus our attention on creating a really positive intention to benefit others, ourselves included, actually in this practice. So whatever we get out of this today, may it just be a little drop in the bucket of making ourselves better human beings and making this world a better place. So we can kind of cultivate that motivation. And then when we're ready, we can get into a nice, comfortable, either seated position, either on a chair, on a cushion, whatever works for you, whatever works for your own comfort. The main thing is just to try to maintain as best as possible a straight up and down spine, and this just helps us to kind of get into this posture of feeling kind of erect, feeling awake, and holding ourselves up, using our bodies to hold ourselves up. And once we're in this posture, whatever posture is comfortable, then we just begin to bring our awareness into the present moment. And one of the best ways to do this is to begin to focus our awareness on our breath. Many meditation teachers have pointed out to me that, and to many people, they've pointed out that the breath is a really wonderful object of meditation, of focusing our awareness, because we always have it. We all have our breath, no matter where we go, we're breathing. If we're not, then we have some problems. We need to sort those out before we do some meditation. And when we're bringing our awareness to our breath, when we're just mindful of the breath coming into the nose and out through the mouth very naturally and just at its own natural pace, we're automatically bringing ourselves into the present moment, whether we're consciously thinking that or not. The moment we're aware of our breath, we're in the present moment, because our breath can only be in the present moment. We can't breathe in the past and we can't breathe in the future. We can only breathe right now. So keeping your eyes open or closed, whatever is comfortable for you, just bring your attention to your breath and just notice the sensations of the breath entering through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. Not forcing the breath, just allowing it to just be natural. And that's all we need to do. Just notice the breath. We don't have to judge it. We don't have to classify it in any way. We can just simply let our awareness rest gently on the in-breath and the out-breath. Now, sooner or later, we're going to notice that our awareness has left the breath. It's gone somewhere else. Thoughts have come up and we might get carried away with those thoughts. We might start thinking things like, am I doing this right? Or why am I doing this? Or we might be thinking about what we're going to have for lunch or what we had for lunch or other things that are going on in our lives. And that's perfectly natural and it's perfectly okay. And we just recognize that the point of meditation is not to suppress thoughts or to be free from thoughts. That's not what we're aiming to do here. We're just aiming to bring a little more mindfulness, mindful awareness, present moment awareness into our lives. And so when we notice that we've drifted away from the breath, we just make a note of that, and then we just come back to the breath again. Very gently, very kind, and with a lot of love and loving friendliness for ourselves, a lot of patience for ourselves, because we're probably going to do this over and over and over again. We're going to notice the breath, and maybe we'll notice it for a whole cycle in and out. Maybe we'll be there with the breath that long. Maybe we'll be there for 2 cycles or 3. Maybe less. It's okay. Just when we notice that we've drifted away, we come back. And if we want, we can use a little technique to sort of help us. Sometimes some people find this helpful. We can actually count the cycles of the breath as we're resting our awareness. Counting just one inhalation and then an exhalation, 1. And then breathing in again, 2. And breathing out, 2. And again, it's totally fine to realize that, oh, I've lost count. Where am I now? Where was I? And to just start over again. Start over at 1. It's totally fine. And now let's go ahead and let's switch our meditation a little bit. And we'll just kind of bring our minds now to the idea of compassion, the experience of compassion. And what is compassion? From a Buddhist point of view, compassion is the wish that oneself and actually all sentient beings, all beings, whether they're humans or animals or other beings, be free from suffering. It's not pity. And it's not empathy either, although empathy is a part of it. We have to have some empathy in order to have compassion, in order to be able to generate this wish, this strong feeling, really wanting ourselves and others to be free from suffering of all kinds. And we all have this basic capacity to feel compassion to some degree or another. And whoever we are, we also have the capacity to cultivate more compassion, to increase that feeling, to create a habit in our mind, a habit to wish that ourselves and others be free from suffering of all kinds. And one way to do this is to begin to understand and acknowledge what suffering is and how it appears in our own lives. And so we can begin to examine our own experience, to see how we experience suffering on a day-to-day basis. And to acknowledge that, yes, indeed, we do suffer. And we begin this not as a downer, as a way to sort of bring ourselves down, but with a real spirit of inquiry and a real spirit of wanting to understand. And so we begin to look at our lives, look at the suffering that we experience on a day-to-day basis, and just begin to look at the little things, the little ways in which we suffer. There's physical pain and discomfort, all the aches and pains that we experience in our body. There's the suffering of feeling hungry, and the suffering of feeling too cold or feeling too hot. And we start to examine these things and just remember that, yeah, you know what, we experience this. Yeah, I do feel aches and pains. I do feel the suffering of hunger, of thirst. There's mental and emotional suffering as well. Discontentment, disappointment, frustration, feeling powerless over things that are beyond our control. We experience anxiety, uncertainty, fear. If not every day, certainly, hopefully not every day we're experiencing all of these things, but at some point we can acknowledge that, yeah, we've experienced these things. And at this point in our meditation, we're just simply just making note, again, just acknowledging, yeah, I know what that feels like. And it can be little sufferings and it can be big sufferings too. It can be we drop our ice cream cone and what kind of a feeling comes up? Ah, disappointment. And then there's bigger sufferings too, those sufferings of fear, of uncertainty, and feelings of grief that we've all experienced at some point in our lives when we lose someone close to us. Or when we lose a job or lose our home. So we're just examining at this point and getting a feeling for what suffering feels like in ourselves, in our own experience. And once we have that feeling, once we have that in the forefront of our mind, in our awareness, acknowledging, recognizing, accepting that we have the experience of suffering, then we cultivate the compassion. Then we start to shift our awareness to compassion. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could be free of that suffering? We don't yet have to be concerned with how or if or some sort of a plan for that. It's just cultivating that wish, that compassion for ourselves, self-compassion, acknowledging that, yes, I suffer. And I don't want to suffer. And spend a little time feeling that compassion for yourself. And every so often, you can maybe even say, may I be free from suffering. May I be free from physical suffering. May I be free from mental suffering. May I be free from emotional suffering and from fear. from confusion. And generate that really strong wish, that strong feeling of compassion, as strong as we possibly can. And when we reach a point where we're like, okay, I've developed this, I've created this feeling, this wish that I be free from suffering, we can just for a moment, we can flip the switch on this and just bring to mind instantly a person that we care about, a person that we really love, that we respect, someone important to us, living or dead, it doesn't matter, but if it's someone living, that's great. And now with this feeling of compassion we've developed for ourselves, cultivated for ourselves, we can just imagine that person and recognize in the moment that, you know what, I experience all of this suffering. And just like I experience all of this suffering, so does this other person. This other person has also experienced physical suffering, mental suffering, emotional suffering, fear, uncertainty, grief, loss, dropping ice cream cones, aches and pains. And that just stands to reason. And we can remember that just in the same way that I want to be free from suffering, this person also wants to be free from suffering. And because it's someone that we already care about, that we already love, that we already respect, who's already important to us, it's easy now to cultivate that compassion for them too. May they be free from suffering as well. Because just like me, they want to be free from suffering. So may this person be free from suffering. And if you want, you can do a little visualization with your imagination, imagining some sort of beautiful white light coming out from your heart, sending with it all of this compassion for this specific person. Imagine them being enveloped by that light, comforted by that light, protected by that light, while saying the prayer, may they be free from suffering. May they be free from suffering. And so we end this meditation today, and we end all of our practices actually with a practice called dedication. Um, and in a nutshell, it just basically means that we take the positive energy that we've created here, and just as we set an intention when we started that this practice benefit ourselves and all beings, we kind of seal that energy in that direction by saying, may the positive energy that we've generated here today, may it continue to benefit ourselves and others in all kinds of wonderful ways. May we continue to grow, continue to practice, continue to learn, and to become better and better, little by little, more and more every day. Thank you very much for coming. Glad you could make it today, and looking forward to seeing you again next Tuesday. If you can make it, that would be great. If you have any questions about the meditation or the practice, Kristen, definitely reach out either on Facebook or yeah, on Facebook would probably be good through Messenger. So I know we see each other there all the time. So take care of yourself today and be well, and yeah, let's keep on cultivating that compassionate heart. All right, sending you much love, and I'll talk to you soon. You're welcome.